Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Heather. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you'll consider subscribing and joining our group here. And when you do, hit that bell so you're notified of every video I post, which happens every Tuesday and Thursday. And on this channel, we talk all about life, food, family, and fun. Got a new plaque. So you're gonna get everything from parenting and marriage tips to recipes and makeup. So I hope you'll consider subscribing. Today, I'm doing a keto coconut cream pie that I think is probably my absolute favorite keto dessert that I've made so far. You can't tell the difference. It's one of those ones where you really can't tell the difference. Usually you're like, well, I know it's different, but it's still good. This one you can't tell. So wanna know how I make it? Stay tuned and let's do this. Okay, so my husband's birthday was a couple of weeks ago and his favorite pie is coconut cream pie. Now, truth be told, I have never made a coconut cream pie, keto or regular. I've just never tried to make it. And so, what could go wrong on a special occasion like a birthday, but to try and make something you've never made before and make it grain-free and sugar-free? What could go wrong? So I scoured the internet to try and find something that I could either make identical or put my spin on it, and I came across Papa G's low carb recipes. He's got a YouTube channel and the recipes look pretty darn good on his channel. So if you haven't checked that out and you are doing low carb, check out Papa G's. I think that you will not be disappointed. And he does have a coconut cream pie recipe in there that looked pretty darn good. So all fairness and disclosure, this recipe credit really should go to him. I only changed a couple of things, which I'll explain later, but for the most part, I followed this recipe pretty closely. All right, let's get started. The first thing that you're gonna do is make your crust. This pie is a 9-inch pie, so you're gonna need a 9-inch pie crust, and you're gonna make the crust pretty much like you would make a normal flaky pastry pie crust. You're gonna need a food processor, you're gonna need your butter to be super cold and cut up into little cubes before you start this process. So you'll need a cup of coconut flour, 2 eggs slightly beaten, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 1/4 cup of powdered monk fruit. Now his just says a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar substitute, doesn't specify which one he uses. I use monk fruit and then just put it in a magic bullet and whip it up into powdered sugar. And I love that because you can't taste any kind of weird aftertaste, and it's easy on your stomach, doesn't cause digestive issues. I will have that linked in the description box below if you want to buy that. It's the only thing I use now. I used to make my own blend of all sorts of stuff. Not anymore, just use monk fruit. You need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then you need your 8 tablespoons of butter. He uses unsalted cold butter. I'm not buying that special. I just used regular and it was awesome. Okay, so what you're gonna use is a food processor, and you're gonna put all the ingredients in except for the butter. And they're gonna pulse that until it's all mixed together. Then you're gonna add the butter and pulse that until you have just fine little chunks of butter left, and it's kind of a crumbly, grainy consistency. You want some of that butter to be visible throughout that crust. That's what gives it its flaky, buttery goodness. So just keep pulsing that until it looks about like this. Then you're gonna press that crust into your 9-inch pie dish, and you're gonna wanna try and make sure that it's even throughout, it's about the same thickness, push it up the sides. It's pretty forgiving once you get it pressed in there. Just kind of mix it in there the best that you can. Once you've got your crust made, take a fork and make sure that you poke holes all around that crust, on the sides, on the bottom, and that will keep it from puffing up while you're baking it. Then you're gonna put it in an oven at 400 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. Watch it until it just gets nice and golden. Take it out, put it on a wire rack, and let it cool. For your topping, you're gonna take unsweetened coconut flakes and just toast them up in a skillet until they're nice and golden brown. Make sure that you are standing there doing this and moving it around so that they don't burn, and just constantly be stirring it back and forth in a dry pan and just toast them up. That's gonna be your topping. Once you've made that and it's cooled down a bit, just throw it in a Ziploc bag until you're ready for it, because you're actually not gonna need it until the next day. So you could do this the next day and just put it right on top. But if you're making all of that stuff while it's baking, put it in a Ziploc bag. Now we're gonna make our custard. For the custard, these are the ingredients that you're gonna need. 1 cup of powdered monk fruit or whatever sweetener you like, 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum, that's gonna thicken it up and bind it together. I'll also have that in the description box if you don't have that and where you can get it off Amazon. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 can of unsweetened coconut milk, and 1 can of unsweetened coconut cream. 4 egg yolks, a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Now this is where I changed it up because the coconut milk and coconut cream is a pretty subtle coconut flavor. And when I'm making a coconut cream pie, this is the first one, but I wanted it to have some serious coconut flavor in there. So I actually used coconut extract instead of the vanilla. I used like 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract and then a tablespoon of coconut extract inside of the custard that you're making. And I'm telling you, I think it makes a difference. It had really great coconut flavor when we were done. So I would highly recommend doing that. I also do something different for the topping as well. And it takes it over the top, I think. So what you're gonna do is use a saucepan that is not hot at all. You're gonna add the sugar to the saucepan. You're gonna put your salt and your xanthan gum in there as well, and then stir it around to mix it together. Add your coconut milk and your coconut cream, mix that all up, and then turn on your burner to medium, and then mix. I think you need to keep stirring that the whole time. This is the part where you really can't walk away. It's not difficult at all. It's just a little time consuming. It takes about 20 minutes or so on that saucepan, but you need to be stirring it constantly to make sure nothing is forming on the top or burning on the bottom. So then when that comes to a simmer, you're gonna add 4 egg yolks one at a time and make sure you mix it in thoroughly. Okay, so once those egg yolks are in, you'll just keep it on medium heat, 7 or 8 minutes or so, constantly stirring until it starts to thicken. And what you want it to look like is coating the back of a spoon. So if you dip your spoon in there and lift it out and it kind of coats the back of the spoon, that's when you know it's at the right spot. So then you're gonna turn the heat off, you're gonna remove it from the heat, and you're gonna let it cool for about 10 minutes. Then you're going to add the coconut extract and the vanilla extract. Don't do that at the beginning. If I said that, don't do that at the beginning. You do that after you've removed it from the heat. So while it's cooling for that 10 minutes, you have to keep stirring it because you don't want any kind of weird milky film on the top of it. So you just keep stirring. So that's where it's taking you like a full 20 minutes from start to finish on that. Just keep stirring. You know, watch another YouTube video like mine. Okay, after that 10 minutes, you're going to pour it into your pie crust, and then you're going to cover that with saran wrap or cling wrap or whatever, and you're gonna press it down on the top to where it's actually touching the custard so there isn't any air bubbles in there. That also helps prevent any kind of weird film developing on the custard while it's setting. So then you're gonna put that into the refrigerator and you're gonna leave it for at least 12 hours. This is honestly the hardest part because it smells amazing in your kitchen and you wanna eat it right away, but it's got to have that time to set. So you're gonna do all of this stuff on day 1, leave it in overnight, and then on day 2, you pick it back up. Okay, then for your topping, it's gonna be a whipped cream topping. So it's a cup of heavy whipping cream and a couple of tablespoons of whatever powdered sweetener you like to use. Again, I use monk fruit. I just feel like it tastes the best. It doesn't have an aftertaste. And then here's where I differ from the recipe that he does. I do coconut extract again, and it just makes a coconut whipped cream. Oh my gosh, so good. So you whip that up just like you're making normal whipped cream, whip it up together, and then you're gonna top that on top of your pie and then put your shredded coconut on top of that. Now, one thing that my husband noted is that he said I should put some shredded coconut in the custard as well after you take it off the heat so that you get some of that texture in there. So if you really like the coconut texture and the crunch of that, you can put some of that in the custard as well and then also put it on top. Now, this thing was so good. By far, it's one of the best desserts that I've made. Keto, I love it, and coconut cream pie isn't my favorite pie, and I loved this. It was so good. I mean, it was fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, nacho approved, and also kid approved.
This tastes like a regular coconut cream pie.
I mean, what more could you ask for? You've got kids loving it, Nacho loving it, my husband loving it. I think you should try this one. Now, this does come out to about 7 carbs per slice, net carbs. So it is an indulgent sweet for a special occasion, not something you're gonna wanna make every week. Thank goodness it takes 2 days to make it because you would probably derail your diet if you're trying to eat something like that every night. that's too many carbs on a regular basis. But for a special occasion and you don't want to derail your diet, this is a great option. It's so good. So good. So if you're a coconut cream pie fan, I hope you will try this out. And leave me a comment below if you love this and tried this. And also, leave me a comment below on a different pie, your favorite pie, that you would like to see keto-fied, and maybe I'll give that a try because this one turned out so well. I'm kind of in pie mode now. Also, if this is helpful and you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does actually help rank my videos higher and get suggested so that more people can see it. So just click the thumbs up button. I so appreciate it. I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.